Racism faced by East Malaysians. East Malaysia, also known as Sabah and Sarawak, is located on the island of Borneo and is home to a diverse population of indigenous people and ethnic minorities. Despite being an integral part of Malaysia, East Malaysians often face discrimination and marginalization both from the government and the wider Malaysian society. This documentary aims to shed light on the experiences of East Malaysians and the impact that racism has on their lives, as well as to explore potential solutions to this issue.
Racism is a widespread issue affecting communities globally, including East Malaysia. East Malaysians, particularly Sabah and Sarawak residents, have long faced marginalization and prejudice. Racism impacts the lives and well-being of people in various ways, including unequal rights and opportunities in areas such as education, employment, and healthcare. The government must act to address the issue of racism and ensure everyone is treated with respect and dignity. Racism in East Malaysia affects the Dayaks and other indigenous people the most, but can also be directed towards members of other ethnic groups.
Increasing representation and combating prejudice and promoting equality and acceptance are crucial in the fight against racism. The political and social fight for Sabah and Sarawak's right involves increasing representation and ensuring equitable distribution of resources. Recognizing and combating institutionalized and systemic forms of prejudice, promoting diversity and inclusion in decision-making are important in the fight against racism.
Hello guys, today I'm going to be doing a social experiment on racism being faced by East Malaysia, more specifically Sabah and Sarawak. I'm going to be asking passersby some questions to test their knowledge on it. Hello, may I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Sabah Sarawak stereotypes?
Yeah, they always say Sabah and Sarawak can live in jungle or rise the no buildings there.
Do you have any opinion on that?
I think it is one for outside comment to be directed to everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, may I ask you a question?
Okay.
Have you ever heard of any Sabah Sarawak stereotypes?
No.
Okay. Some common examples are people from Sabah Sarawak live on trees and they have no Wi-Fi.
Although nobody should ever be subjected or commented on that way. It's degrading them as a human and treating them like animals.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, may I ask you a question? Come. Sorry for interrupting you. Have you ever heard of any Sabah Sarawak stereotypes?
Yeah, like how someone thinks they live in the trees.
What's your opinion on it?
I think that the stereotype should be destroyed. It's just unfair treatment.
Thank you for your opinion.
In this research, a cross-sectional study was conducted to determine racism faced by East Malaysia in terms of social, political, and economical perspective. This study was mainly conducted among people living in Malaysia, as well as some of the participants from other countries. Our participants mainly consist of students and tailors community. In contrast, foreigners who were not aware of the research topic were excluded from our research. Convenient sampling was adopted as the sampling method, as it is convenient in nature and requires a shorter data collection duration.
Data were collected through two different methods, which were a self-administered online survey and interviews. In the survey, participants were exposed to three different sections, which are, firstly, socio-demographic section, multiple questions asking for participants' views regarding racism faced by East Malaysia. Lastly, were short answer questions which aim to identify the possible reasons of racism occurrence and population opinion regarding government responsibilities when racism happens. As for the interview, 8 questions were included. It aimed to obtain a more in-depth participants' views about our research topic. As for statistical analysis, Microsoft Excel was used. Data were presented as mean and SD. Correlation tests was performed to find out the relationship between efforts made in terms of addressing racism being made in East Malaysia and the racism rating.
In Western and Eastern philosophy, racism is the act of behaving negatively against another race, whether via speech, deeds, or thoughts, only because one race feels superior than the other. Racism can emerge for a variety of reasons, including superiority complexes, disputes, or plague ignorance. This is frequently observed in Western civilization because individuals tend to be unaware of one another's distinctions and have been misled by tales passed down from their ancestors in an effort to feel superior to other races other than their own. When examining a human experience, it is crucial to examine the period and surroundings in which an individual dwells. Our capability to converse with one another has aided us in creating complicated societies, exchanging information, and passing down cultural customs from one era to another. Our capability to communicate allows us to comprehend each other and the world around us. An individual's worldview is shaped by a system of assumptions, values, and beliefs known as ideology. In the context of racism, it alludes to a set of ideas and principles that support and uphold discrimination and racial injustice. The word Sejahtera can be presented in 3 different aspects, as such, spiritually, intellectually, and culturally. If the Malaysian community could live up to these standard values, racism would not be a common occurrence. Malaysia being known to be a multiracial country where all races reside closely, many internal factors within the people makes racism an unavoidable problem. The philosophy of Sejahtera guides the life of the community to achieve a well-balanced life.
This research aimed to investigate the issue of racism faced by East Malaysians and to identify potential solutions to reduce it. The research objectives were threefold: to assess racism faced by East Malaysia philosophically, and to give more exposure about the indigenous people in Sabah and Sarawak and how they face discrimination socially, politically, and economically, and to identify the causes for racism against East Malaysians.
A cross-sectional study was conducted, including a survey and interviews with tailored students. Results showed that ideology is a suitable philosophy for racism, and family influence and unawareness are major causes. Little knowledge of East Malaysia's diversity contributes to stereotypes and discrimination, and the government's lack of proper treatment is a significant cause. To reduce racism, education and racial equality should be widely promoted, and the government should formulate policies and laws respecting the MA63 agreement. History books and business subjects should be updated to shed light on the contribution of the East to the country's growth.